Hello, hello. Azala Foss here, an unofficial ambassador of VShojo and two-time winner of Streamer of the Year at the Streamer Awards. Ironmouse has an enormous presence within not just the VTubing sphere, but the streaming community as a whole. The Demon Queen just recently ended her subathon, and as of the time of this video, took an all-time record for subs on Twitch, as well as giving half of the earnings raised in her subathon to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. But today, we'll be looking over something Mousy dropped towards the middle of her subathon. On September 17th, Ironmouse dropped her newest single and MV, Time to Feast. The song was written and produced by HalaCG, as well as producers shirobeats and Thunderscott. The single's incredibly animated MV was done by Dylan Goose Studio and his team. Ironmouse's newest single is very clearly made for this spooky season, with references to supernatural monsters galore. This earworm of a song has inspired me to take a closer look at the lyrics. Perhaps then I can infect more people with my brain rot. Hehe. While I'll mention the influences of the MV in relation to Time to Feast's lyrics, it will not be the focus of this video. I'll leave the animation analysis to the experts. In addition, throughout the analysis, I'll be using speaker or singer to refer to Ironmouse's singing, with clarification of what point of view is being used as needed. The song undoubtedly has ties to some of Ironmouse's own thoughts and ideas, but I don't want there to be speculation about her life via the song's lyrics. So I'd appreciate it if we can all approach the song on its own merits. As a final note before we dive into the song, remember that this is all just my interpretation of the meaning. This in no way should be taken as an objective decoding of Time to Feast, but as my own subjective opinions and thoughts. Now, it's time for me to dust off my English major knowledge and head straight into the song analysis. Time to Feast starts with the chorus verses, with the singer establishing the concept and atmosphere of the song. Listeners are seemingly told to walk through the fog to find a little tree. The singer then metaphorically connects the tree to herself, stating that her many sides are hung on its branches. The sides hung on the tree's branches is foreshadowing the different points of view that will appear later within the song. Then, the next verse of the chorus states that the singer is all you've got on this cursed Halloween. While these lines very well could just be a way of connecting to the listener, the specificity of the time of year and how the singer seems to be the sole confidant makes me think that the speaker is referring to one person in particular. As the breakdown unfolds, I'll elaborate on who I think this you refers to, as well as why the speaker emphasizes that they can't run away before dropping the song's title. The song now transitions into its main verses, and the sides of the singer takes turns to speak for themselves. These perspectives, the witch, the ghost, the vampire, and the zombie, also correlate with the same monsters shown in the music video. But as I've said, we're sticking to the lyrics here. The first to sing is the witch, who announces herself with stereotypical Halloween monster behaviors, like biting into hearts, hiding in darkness, and so on. She seems to be trying to intimidate the listener, using these monster attributes to assert power. But then, the witch pivots into what comes across as advice, stating that when the cats are purring, heat the cauldron, raise the temperature. While she's still asserting dominance and telling the listener what they should do, it's also advice that the witch goes out of her way to suggest. Then, the next of the singer's monster sides, the ghost, takes over. She warns the listener to not trust her little potions, and indicates that she'll be the one to give your body chills. The potion strongly alludes to the witch, and the wording infers that the potions wouldn't be as effective on the listener. What exactly was the purpose of these potions in the first place, you may ask? Well, a common trope related to witchcraft and witch-like figures in literature is the concept of a love potion. The self-explanatory effect of these concoctions have long been yearned for, with there even being real-life applications within history. The fact that the ghost states that it'll be the ghost herself, not the potions, that will give the body chills can be taken to mean that she's confident in her own ability to have the listener fall in love with her. Now, here I'll have to pause for a small intermission. Let's get back to the question posed earlier about the identity of the you within the song's lyrics. Based upon what we've seen so far, at this point I'm confident that the person the speaker is talking to is someone that she's in a relationship with. The relationship in question doesn't necessarily need to be romantic, but there's definitely a tension between the singer and who I'll call the lover for the remainder of the video. Let's return to the ghost in her verses. She states that she's feeling like your floating boo, an obvious double entendre. She's a boo, a ghost, and also feels like a boo, the lover's partner. Adding floating as a descriptor not only further cements the ghost imagery, but also gives a sense of how much presence the singer seems to have in the lover's life. Then, for the final line of her verse, she says that she knows you love this kind of thrill. The thrill relating back to being in love, as the lover was set up earlier in the song to be indecisive about their feelings for the singer. The last line seems to be the ghost affirming the affection they feel as a way of persuading them to her side. The third voice of the song, the vampire, differentiates herself from the earlier voices by being direct in their words and actions towards the lover. She starts her portion of the song with a bite into your neck, a visceral act of intimacy between the singer and the lover. In one of the few times that the lover is described, the vampire states you're static, oh so hypnotized. If the vampire's description of events is to be trusted, it can be inferred that the lover is deeply lovesick for the singer. At the same time, however, they're still static. In other words, the lover is still indecisive about what to do with their affection. This leads the vampire to say to bat her away. Obvious vampire pun aside, she appears to be respecting the lover's boundaries, allowing them space and reassuring them that she'll return to you late in the night. A moment of being rejected does not deter the singer from staying steadfast in her love. This confidence is in contrast to the lover's own feelings of doubt. Finally, the voice of the zombie gets her chance to shine. Her verse acts as a foil to the vampire, as she tells her lover to take it slow. This is not without some sense of foreboding, however, as the zombie states to do so until you're out of breath. It implies that if the lover waits too long to come to terms with their feelings, they may get to a point in their relationship where that breath, what's sustaining their love, runs out. The zombie's last two lines of her verse state, "Die, baby, but our love will last until the end." This seems to be the singer reaffirming her commitment to her lover, that even if their love ends up dying, she'll stick with it to its conclusion. The song gets to its first bridge, the main point of view returning to the original speaker. She wonders aloud if you could ever love a monster. The monster is pretty clearly the singer herself, and she seems to be voicing what the lover may be thinking to themselves. Then she follows by asking the lover, "What would happen if I told you?" In other words, does the lover really want to hear the answer to their question? It implies that the speaker may already know the answer, and while I have some thoughts of what that may be, I'll save them for the end of the video. Hey, I gotta keep audience retention somehow, y'all. The chorus returns, which I'll skip for brevity. We return to the voice of the witch, who warns that it's getting dark, the witching hour is nearly here. The witching hour is, according to Britannica.com, the concept of there being a time of night when the supernatural and witches are at the peak of their power. With that context, the witch's lines are warning and potentially intimidating the lover of their circumstances. The relationship between the singer and the lover is at a point that may make or break their bond. The witch asks the lover to raise the bar, perhaps an indicator that she's hoping for them to rise to the challenge. This is later supported by the last line of her verse, as she said, "If you run, I'll make you disappear." Being charitable, I believe that the witch is giving the lover an ultimatum: fight for their love, or else disappear from the speaker's life. The ghost gets her second set of verses. Graveyard, hang with me and you'll lose every fear. The characterization of the ghost's desire to persuade the lover to her side is further supported by these verses. The fear she's describing is the lover's fear surrounding the relationship. The ghost implies that these fears would go away if they stick together and are confident in the strength of their relationship. She further attempts to persuade the lover, encouraging them to free your mind and see it crystal clear. Her confidence in the lover to make a decision to pursue the relationship comes across, seeing it as being crystal clear that it's the best option. Once again, the voice of the vampire comes across strong, with the singer even switching to rapping for these verses. She point-blank tells the lover to not toy with her appetite or play coy. The vampire calls out the lover's indecisiveness and expresses her anger at having to wait on them to make up their mind. This seems to come to a head when she says to destroy her, calling her lover the acolyte. Acolytes are defined as religious followers who assist someone called a celebrant in conducting rituals or ceremonies. The celebrant, the administrator of religious events meant to celebrate something, can be said to be the singer. She's celebrated and has expressed her confidence in her bond with the lover throughout much of Time to Feast's runtime. The vampire's command to destroy her implies that she'd rather the lover be frank about wanting to end the relationship, rather than dragging it out. Her last three lines are pretty self-explanatory, as the vampire tells the lover to shoot their shot, raise the stakes, and play the game or not. The lover needs to make up their mind going forward about their feelings towards the speaker, and to their commitment to their relationship. The next section of the rap takes on the zombie's perspective. I find her second set of verses to be the hardest parts of the song to analyze, so bear with me here. The first thing she states is that her head's in her hands, and furthers this zombie imagery by saying her heart isn't there. As our minds are obviously in our heads, well, unless you're a headless horseman, the zombie having her own head in her hands can imply that the singer may have her own doubts or uncertainty. This is the first time that the speaker and her voices have expressed any similar sentiments to the lover, and could be an indication that the zombie may be being honest here. In addition to her own doubts, the zombie sees herself as having no heart, both in a literal and metaphorical sense. This heartlessness she perceives in herself can be reflected in some of the lines of the previous voices, such as the vampire, who come across more harshly in how they speak to the lover. The last four lines of the zombie's second set tells the lover to prepare yourself for war awaits, brave the night, and take your place. Despite the zombie's own insecurities and faults, she still encourages the lover to face their feelings, along with the other voices. So what was the purpose of hearing these sides of the speaker, all depicted as different monsters? These points of view are all part of the singer and could be a reflection of their own conflicting thoughts and emotions in relation to the lover's indecision. She wants to put up a front of being confident to guide the lover to coming to terms with their feelings, as represented by the witch. As the ghost, the singer attempts to persuade the lover to her point of view and remind them of the strength of their bond. Meanwhile, the voice of the vampire directly confronts the lover with their frustration and asks them to confront their feelings instead of dragging out their decision. Lastly, the zombie voices the speaker's own worries and fears, with the understanding that she'll enjoy the time she has with the lover if it happens to come to an end. Since the remainder of the song is the bridge and the chorus, I'll just touch upon the meaning of the song's title and refrain, Time to Feast. If a feast is a large meal, usually shared among many people, what's its meaning in the context of the song? On a surface level, the feast relates back to the setting of Halloween, the candy that trick-or-treaters accumulate in the course of a night. Within my interpretation of the lyrics, however, I believe that the feast is a metaphor for the speaker and the lover's relationship. Their love and their time together is something to be enjoyed with each other. The statement, then, is calling for the lover to decide to commit to their bond, to enjoy the feast of their labor to make this relationship work, instead of being too wrapped in doubts or outside challenges facing the relationship. The singer wants to have the lover be able to enjoy their time with each other. I can't say enough how well HalaCG has written the lyrics to be so laden with meaning while fitting within the format of a pop song. That latter half may be more the work of the other two producers and the music director, though. There's so many compelling connections and details I could go into, especially if I included the elements brought in by the music video's animation. But this script is 4 pages long as it is, so I'll spare you the yapping. If you've gotten this far in the video and haven't yet listened to Time to Feast, well, firstly, how the heck are you still here? But more importantly, go listen to Ironmouse's song, either from the NV on YouTube or through platforms like Spotify. Not sponsored, of course. I just really enjoyed the song, as you might have suspected. Were there any lyrics of Time to Feast you think should have had more time in the limelight? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what y'all have gleaned from the song that I might have missed. If you were so kind as to like and subscribe as well, I'd really appreciate it. I'm planning on releasing other spoopy-themed videos, so you can follow my X account to keep up with these projects. Just don't mind all the weird pictures I'm putting up related to battalion stuff. Hope to see y'all again soon. Toodaloo!